I mean, they were open and there was still stuff in the drawers, and they were like, you know, is this stuff, I mean, just where do you want the stuff out there? And they were just started taking all the stuff out and putting it in the pile over by that little glass mirror, like the glass table that was over against the wall. So, I mean, there was still some stuff in there, and I mean, it had to have come out of there because.
Okay. Well, you pulled it out, right? And then you noticed it later or something?
No.
When you discovered it, what were you doing when you discovered that wallet was Cheryl's?
It was on the floor, like, I mean, right with the stuff that was in the dresser.
So you don't personally remember taking it out of the dresser?
I didn't actually see it in the dresser, but I didn't see it on the floor around the stuff. And I mean, all the stuff we took out of the dresser, they were taking most of the stuff out, but it was all piled up right there. There was like a little...
The wallet explanation, cognitive load amplification by asking Scott Thompson sat in that interrogation room and said it plainly.
I mean, you don't have my DNA. Okay. I've never been in a car.
Calm, certain, almost insulted. The detective didn't flinch. He slid a report across the table and said,
FDLE report, right there. Scott Thompson's included DNA profile 37. It goes on and on and on like that. See your name? Exhibit Scott Thompson.
And silence, in an interrogation room, is its own kind of confession.
There gotta be an explanation, dude. The only explanation I know of is that you killed her.
Who is Cheryl Payne and what actually happened on that day? Welcome back to my channel. Your review about my content means a lot to me. On March 23rd, 2009, Cheryl Kane left her home in Cantonment, Florida, and never came back. She was last seen alive by her own family that evening, her small black wallet sitting on the counter beside her green purse. Her father would later tell investigators he watched her pick it up before she walked out the door. He had no way of knowing it would be the last ordinary moment he would ever share with his daughter. 2 days later, on March 25th, her body was found, stuffed inside a dumpster behind an abandoned Shell station on Highway 29 at Burgess Road in Pensacola. She had been strangled. Her hands were bound with electrical cords, the kind that plug into a wall. Whoever did this had planned it carefully enough to wear gloves the entire time, leaving not a single fingerprint behind. But careful is not the same as invisible. What the killer didn't account for was sweat, touch DNA, microscopic traces left not by deliberate contact, but by the simple, involuntary act of being present, had transferred onto the steering wheel of Cheryl's car, onto the electrical cords binding her wrists, and across her clothing. The body had been wiped. The car had been wiped. But DNA doesn't negotiate. The last person Cheryl Kane spoke to that night was Scott Thompson. Phone records confirmed it. Between the hours of 5:30 p.m. and approximately 9:45 p.m. on the night of March 23rd, the two exchanged at least 6 phone calls. The last call lasted 8 minutes. After that, nothing. Cheryl's phone went silent. She never called anyone again. Scott Thompson was not a stranger. He had known Cheryl for nearly 10 years, ever since she had dated his former roommate, Larry Spears. Their relationship was transactional. She would occasionally come to him looking for marijuana. He would try to source it. Small amounts, a few dollars here and there. On the surface, unremarkable. Beneath it, a financial tension that witnesses would later describe as explosive. So, cops brought him in for the interrogation.
No, I didn't. I was taking all that week. Yeah, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was off.
Okay.
So, Saturday was the last day I worked.
Okay. So you were off Sunday, you're off Monday, you're off Tuesday, you're off Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. And you planned on taking care of your court stuff that week?
Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't do it Monday?
No.
Okay. So Monday night you're home. So you figure you got Tuesday and Wednesday to take care of it. You know you got to wait for first appearance and all that, right? So that's why you were waiting. So you turned yourself in and you thought you'd have no bond, so you'd see the judge the next morning. Is that what you planned on, hoping to get out that then, or what?
Well, just from everybody I talked to, they say when you violate on a technicality, there's a no bond.
Right.
And you usually, when you go in for the warrant, you stay there for at least a month till your court date.
Okay.
So, I had planned in my head that,
this was it for a while.
I was probably going to be going for a month.
And you weren't going out partying?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. So your last night possible of freedom for a month, and you weren't going to go out and do anything?
Well, I mean, I didn't know it would be Tuesday. But,
right.
my boss man, Henry, Derek's dad, called
Right.
down there because I told him, I wanted to take a week off.
Right.
Because, I'd probably be gone for a while. And he's like, well, I know it sounds selfish, but we need your service,
Yeah.
Need you to work, we miss you. And, so Henry called down there and talked to my probation officer and was like, is there anything we can do? Write a letter to the judge, talk to anybody.
Right.
And that's when she told him, well, all right, this is what's up. They're going to issue a warrant for him today.
Epistemic authority before Scott says a word, the detective establishes absolute dominance over the facts. The warrant, the date, the time, the charges, all delivered without hesitation. This is epistemic authority in action. When a figure presents information with total institutional confidence, the listener's brain registers resistance as futile even before the interrogation properly begins.
I don't think that's enough to kill somebody. If you were with her that day, this would be the time to explain how your DNA's on her.
I was not with her that day.
Okay. You're not with her that day? You ain't drove her car and you didn't touch the cords, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Talk to me. How are you, do you own some of her clothing? I mean, have you been over to her house and done her laundry or something? I mean, there's got, it don't just magically appear. And Larry's isn't there. That's what hurts even more. I mean, if her wallet ended up under my bed and Larry's DNA was all over this shit, well, now I probably isn't here talking to Larry right now. But that ain't the case. Okay?
All right.
Now, I don't know if she attacked you, if she was pissed off at you because you owed her money. I don't know if she threatened you or what happened. But I do know she's tied up, you're on her car, you're on the straps around her hands, and you got DNA all over her clothing. I don't understand how that happened. This would be, hey, if something mitigating here, this is when we talk about it, This is not that time, well, I'm going to deny. I need to know. It didn't just magically appear. And I think I've been honest with you every time we've been in here, and I've explained things as I went, what was going on.
After DNA confrontation, cognitive dissonance induction, the detective floods Scott with physical evidence, steering wheel, cords, clothing, that directly contradicts Scott's denials. This creates unbearable cognitive dissonance, the psychological tension of holding two irreconcilable realities at once. The detective then offers minimization as the release valve. Maybe she attacked you, making confession feel like the only path that resolves the internal conflict.
After that?
When I called him to see, if he would do something small, he said he didn't have none right then, but maybe later. But I really didn't even call him back after that. Just
So one phone call.
one phone call.
Well, what did you take it to be later as it's going to be?
I mean, like later on.
Later in the night? Later that same night?
Later.
And you didn't call him again?
No.
And wasn't she kind of expecting you to get some weed for her?
Well, it's just kind of, she only wanted like a nickel, and she would call me, a lot of times, and I just wouldn't call back, or she'd call and I wouldn't answer, or just not really wanting to mess with it, but.
And that's the last time you talked to her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she never came over that night?
No, sir.
And she never talked to you on the phone again after that?
No, sir.
Okay. And of course, yesterday I get over to your house because I get a call from the family saying Larry Spears has called them saying that he was over at your house and had found Cheryl's wallet in your room,
yes, sir.
under your bed. And when I went over there and talked to you, you said that's where you placed it. Is that correct?
Under the mattress.
Under the mattress, right. Well, under your bed, under the mattress, sorry. Yeah, between the box spring and the mattress.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Process of elimination framing by systematically producing evidence that clears every alternative suspect. The detective doesn't accuse Scott directly. He lets the logic do it. This exploits the psychological certainty that comes from elimination. Once every other explanation is publicly destroyed, the remaining one feels not like an accusation, but like an inevitable conclusion Scott himself is being walked toward.
I know we talked the other day. I kind of was in a rush because I was trying to get over to talk to Larry. So I didn't get a chance to get a recorded statement from you. This is going to be that recorded statement.
Okay.
You're going to have a lot of the same questions I asked you the other day. Obviously, the new part would be, her wallet and stuff about that wallet. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used as evidence against you in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present while being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer will be appointed for you without cost before questioning. If you wish to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering questions at any time.
Okay.
You understand each of those rights? This basically is the form, and those are the questions I just read through you. What I'd like you to do is initial by each one, and then right here where it's signed, and then I'll witness it. I'll tell you what, when we go over the questions before we start the recording. Go ahead. Okay, I'll witness this.
Wallet and Shell Station. Prospect theory and scarcity. The detective closes by telling Scott this is his last chance before court. A deliberate scarcity trigger rooted in prospect theory. The finding that fear of loss outweighs desire for gain. Scott isn't being offered an opportunity. He's being shown a closing door. Every second of silence is reframed as an active choice to lose something: credibility, sympathy, narrative control, rather than simply a right being exercised.
I guess you're not going to be staying at that house since you're going to move out of it. So what address you want to put your family's address? That's pretty much what you use for mailing? Okay. So that's the, well, that's 9.5 mile?
9.5.
9.5, yeah. The home number over there at your parents' house, we got 6, is that right?
That's it.
Okay. And what's your number?
It's just my work phone, work cell phone.
Okay. And what do they call it? What's your job title up there at Florence Tree Gardens?
Service manager.
MGR. And is there a work number up there that you dial direct in?
Yeah, the upfront phones.
Awesome. Okay. Obviously, you're up here, so we're not over at your house. So there's some preliminary stuff I'll have to do. Because I'm up here and I'm asking you questions, and then I'm doing an investigation on homicide, I'm going to have to give you your rights. Okay. Today's date, 3/31/09. Time right now I have is 8:58 hours.
The detective opens this early interview with paperwork, small talk about addresses, and casual jokes about street names, none of which is accidental. This draws on uncertainty management theory. By keeping the atmosphere relaxed and administratively mundane, the detective prevents Scott from activating his full psychological defenses, lulling him into a conversational register where guards drop and details spill freely.
No.
Okay. And no kind of arguments, anything like that?
No.
Okay. At that point, you said before that you had owed her a little bit of money, what, $30? Is that what? Let me look in here. $30, but that was on the previous Friday.
Yeah, that was
And
before.
and you got it to her.
And that, yeah.
Okay. So at that point, you didn't owe her any money, and she didn't owe you any money.
No.
Everybody's clean bill of health.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you that Friday? How did that go down? How did y'all meet each other?
The Friday, the last Friday.
The last
that I
time you saw
the
her.
last time I saw her.
Yeah. How did that go down again?
She just called and was
Okay.
like, was it able to go through or anything?
Right.
No.
Any kind of problems with that?
No.
She was not mad.
No.
You were not mad.
No.
Okay. So she comes over and she's alone. You said, and she is collects her $30. No problems.
No problems.
Okay. All right. And then you said you sold this big screen No, I'm sorry, I'm getting that confused. You sold the big screen TV to Adam, right?
Yeah, my neighbor.
Okay. And for about $250, is that correct?
And then 80 for the surround sound.
And the 80 for the surround sound. Right, okay. And then the black guy comes over. And what day was that he comes over?
the $30 and Friday meeting. Narrative entrapment: the detective lets Scott build his own alibi in granular detail. The time, the car, the 2 minutes, the $30. This is a deliberate application of commitment and consistency bias, one of the most powerful principles in social psychology. The more specific and voluntarily offered the story, the more psychologically costly it becomes for Scott to walk it back later when the facts no longer fit.
Okay. The Friday before, and then.
No.
Okay. So Friday this past week, like when I came over there, the day after I came over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So they came over that Friday, and you got rid of the rest of the stuff. And what was that stuff?
Just the dresser.
Just the dresser. Was there a mirror with it?
Yeah, it was a mirror too.
Okay.
I forgot about
So
that.
a dresser and a mirror, and that's the day that you went and got them, got the stuff, and then drove them back.
Mhm.
And you're saying that was this past Friday,
Mhm.
the day after I came over. And that's the day you found her wallet
Yeah.
in the car. And we're sure of that.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
And-
I mean, they were open and there was still stuff in the drawers, and they were like, you know, is this stuff? I mean, where do you want the stuff out there? And they were just started taking all the stuff out and putting it in the pile over by that little glass mirror, like the glass table that was over against the wall. So I mean, there was still some stuff in there, and I mean, it had to have come out of there because.
Okay. Well, you pulled it out, right? And then you noticed it later or something?
No,
When you discovered it, what were you doing when you discovered that wallet was Cheryl's?
it was on the floor, like, I mean, right with the stuff that was in the dresser.
So you don't personally remember taking it out of the
I
dresser?
didn't
but
actually see it in the dresser, but I didn't see it on the floor around the stuff, and I mean, all the stuff we took out of the dresser,
Right.
they were taking most of the stuff out, but it was all piled up right there. There was like a little.
The wallet explanation: cognitive load amplification by asking Scott to reconstruct the exact sequence of finding the wallet. Which drawer, which wall, what time, who was present. The detective is deliberately overwhelming his working memory. This exploits cognitive load theory. Fabricated stories require active construction and maintenance, while true memories retrieve automatically. The more detail demanded, the more a manufactured account begins to fracture under its own weight.
What about 8 and 9 o'clock that night when you talked to her?
Was it that late?
Well, I have those 3 phone calls you talked about earlier. They're all right here in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Just about the times that you said. But then you talked to her for about 8 minutes, about 8:30.
Okay, that's when she called, or I talked to her the last time, when she said that, when she was talking about, what's his name?
Well, I don't know, because you know, we've kind of gone over it several times here. And I've asked you about the phone calls and how many number of phone calls and what times they were, and I was pretty specific, and I went back over it again to find out about it. But then we got 3 more phone calls later that night, after the time you said you last talked to her.
3?
So the last time, yeah. Well, the others are for 1 minute, so I don't know if they went through or not, but they're dialed.
Yeah.
You to her, her to you, in one 8-minute conversation. Okay, you don't
Played
remember
phone
that?
tag a couple times. I mean,
Well, but I'm pretty specific, and you're saying after 7 o'clock. So what was that last phone call about?
Temporal precision pressure: the detective does not ask Scott generally about Monday night. He produces an exact timestamp. 8:22 p.m., 8 minutes, confirmed by phone records. This weaponizes source monitoring theory, the psychological mechanism by which people track where their memories originate. When a fabricated memory is challenged with documented precision, the suspect cannot rely on the natural confidence that genuine recall produces, forcing visible hesitation that reads unmistakably as consciousness of guilt.
You're telling me, first you're telling me yes, then you're telling me now
when
you're not
said
so
the power
sure.
cords, I thought you meant like the cord, because the DVD player's got it plugs in the back, and it's got the cords you plug in the wall. You can take that off. I mean, that's like, I mean, it pulls out.
So the power cord is detachable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean,
But a DVD player, for it to work, has to have some type of connections between it and the television.
I don't think there was any RCA jacks or anything.
Okay. You remember that word RCA jacks?
Yeah.
Okay. RCA jacks. No remote, but there was RCA jacks. Look right here. I wrote that. No remote and then there's RCHX right here. You know why I wrote that? And that's what I wrote the first time when I left, before I went and talked to her. So this last little break, because you mentioned specifically the same word, RCHX, and so I wrote it down that way, because you said they were there. You know?
And you said, what are you talking about? And I said the two things.
Yeah, oh, I know, and you explained how it was. So you were very sure of them being there prior to my break. Now, after talking to her, and after her telling me about this, now you're not sure. And now you're saying even further that you don't remember there being RCHX. When before this interview, you specifically said RCHX when I asked you if the courts were all there.
You haven't talked to him yet and asked him?
No, I haven't talked to him yet. I haven't talked to him. I just talked to her.
I don't know, man. I think you're tricking me now or trying to confuse me or something.
I'm trying not to trick you. I'm trying not to confuse you. Trust me, I don't want to confuse you. Hell, you've messed up every date I've had so far, right? Said it's one thing, been absolutely sure, and then as soon as I show proof the other way, it's changed again, right? Okay.
The exit is psychological leverage. The detective lets Scott walk out of this interview without an arrest. That release is not generosity. It is strategy rooted in reactance theory and a Zeigarnik effect. Unresolved tension lingers in the mind far more powerfully than closure does. Scott leaves carrying the full psychological weight of every unanswered question, every contradicted timeline, every call he said never happened, and the detective knows that weight compounds daily until the next room.
That's him?
I mean, I don't know where you get Mike from, but...
Oh, LB. You said LB.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that him?
Yeah. Can I open? I thought I saw another page.
Yeah, there's an old picture of him. That's him, though? For sure?
That's not the same guy.
That's the same guy. He just was a lot skinnier in prison. They always fatten up after. And none of these guys are him. You sure it's this guy?
This looks more like him. I'm not 100% sure though.
Let's see what we got here. Posted as LB. This guy goes by LB.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably him.
That looks like him.
He sure don't look the same in prison though, do they? Ah, dog. Alright, man. Alright, so you think this is going to be LB? Okay. Let me go get this mofo in here and we will get this concluded, man.
Do you lunch or anything?
Yeah, you hungry? You want some food? What you want? What you want?
Lights are getting bright in here too, starting to get a headache, a hunger headache and stuff.
I can't adjust the lights every time one setting. What are you hungry for? You want a burger or something?
I don't care, man, whatever.
McDonald's and a drink?
It
Something
don't
like
matter.
that? I'll hook you up, man. Sit tight. Alright, be right back with some McDonald's now.
Alright, man.
Backed into a corner by his own contradictions, Scott reaches for a medical explanation. ADD, short-term memory loss. The detective doesn't argue. He simply points out that none of this is ancient history. It happened last week. And the truth, as he puts it, slides out on its own.
Okay, now when we get to the black guy, he's going to tell me he had everything he needed for that DVD player, except for the remotes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there would have been. It was just a DVD player, the TV, and the thing.
What connects the DVD player to the TV?
I didn't hear him say anything about where's the power cords or nothing. He just took it and left. I mean, he didn't. I don't remember him saying, hey, where's the cords and all that. He said, where's the remote?
If you remember prior to this, me coming back in here, when I was asking you about that, and you were going over, I think we started with game systems. Remember I asked you about game systems. Had you ever had one? You said never had one.
Never had a
I asked you about a computer. Never had a computer.
Never had.
Then we went over the big screen TV and all that stuff. And then we went over Adam buying the TV and the price of it, the surround sound. And I was very specific. Hey, did he have all the wires and stuff for that? And then we went over the
Adam got everything that was plugged up, hooked up in there. He got everything with that.
I understand.
I mean,
and you told me the same thing with the black guy getting the DVD player. Because I asked you, and I was specific about that, because that's one of the questions I have. Is if all the wires are with it. And I made sure I asked you that question, and you were absolutely sure of it. And then when I came back in here and I asked you about it again, I'm asking you about these cords and stuff, and you telling me the only thing he was missing is the 2 remotes, which he got that following Sunday.
The remote, the DVD.
That's the only
player
thing he's
one,
missing.
The remote.
Right, the remote for the TV, right? Because there's not one for the DVD player, right?
After the electronic sell-off is revealed, within days of Cheryl's murder, Scott had quietly stripped his house. Big screen TV, surround sound, DVD player, all gone. Each sale handed over to a different person, paid in cash or crack cocaine.
Now, I'm going to call Derek to make sure about this week off, but Danny was supposed to, when we talked to Danny, he was supposed to confirm with the others whether you had gotten it off. And
Sunday,
he further adds,
Sunday I was supposed to work and I didn't work.
Okay.
And then I talked to Derek, and then that's when he said, okay, take you a few days off,
Right.
and Wednesday's your normal day off. We got that covered.
Right.
Be ready to go Thursday. That starts the new pay week,
Right.
the beginning of the week when we start the paycheck.
So I'm going to have no problem getting
No.
through to Derek and getting that same answer.
Nope.
Okay. And Adam is the one that you had this arrangement with. Now, Adam, I understand, has a little baby, right? You work
He's
with
got a
him
little
on
girl.
floor 3? Okay. Because he's concerned right now about getting over there to his little girl. So he's going to tell me that you had this deal arranged for Cheryl, or was trying to arrange it with Cheryl that Monday. Is that correct? Is that what he's going to tell me?
Well, he's just gonna say, some weed. I didn't say for who or what.
Oh, you didn't tell him it was for
No.
Cheryl? Okay. Okay. And he got the big screen TV and all that good stuff.
The detective pulls back the curtain. While Scott sits in this room, other investigators are already at his workplace at the Fowler sisters' house, tracking down the drug buyer. Every name Scott gives is being checked before he finishes the sentence.
Okay, so you're saying
She
that
said that
argument didn't
I
count.
argued and yelled at her,
You're
called her
calling
a
her-
stupid.
Yeah, and when you got off the phone, you were still yelling and screaming. She said the conversation was basically over you owing Cheryl money, her wanting her money. She also said that you owe a lot of people money. No?
This is the same girl that when Larry and Cheryl were broke up when I lived in my old apartment, stole pills from me,
Right.
denied it. Robbed me. I shouldn't even be hanging back around her.
But you went and got her, right? You went and got her to give her this furniture.
Right. Yeah, her and her sister.
And you're moving out of this apartment, this house that Derek owns for what reason again?
Because I'm probably going to be going to Keating
Okay.
when I go to court.
Right, so you need to move all your stuff. And your parents, the
Within
reason
the
why
end of
you're
the
not
month.
storing is because your parents don't have room, is that correct?
Yeah, the garage is full. They don't want to pay storage.
Okay. So
Couch-
you got to get rid of this stuff.
Couches and stuff.
So it's not
were
that you're
gave
doing
to
them a
me.
huge favor, it's that you're doing yourself.
I was being, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was being nice to them.
Mhm.
Their mom's always collecting broken stuff, fixing tables, but I did not owe her money, and I don't know. I'm telling you, Larry's, the only thing I can think of is Larry's talked to her and said something about the wallet, implementing me and just trying to get them to go against me, because I don't know.
But everything else is lining up. The conversation's there.
Yeah.
They're talking about the black guy, which corroborates your story, the black guy. It's just the dates have been wrong.
Tasha Fowler places a dresser pickup on Monday. The same Monday Scott made his last calls to Cheryl. The same Monday she was last seen alive. She also heard Scott yelling at Cheryl on the phone, calling her a bitch over money.
Okay. So, we going to talk about this or no?
No, I don't. You don't have my DNA.
Okay.
I've never been in her car.
Okay. You've never been in her car?
Never been in her car.
Okay. And
I've ridden
there's
her car
electrical-
once, a long time ago.
okay, were you driving?
No,
Okay. Your DNA is included on her steering wheel.
there's no way.
Sorry. Your DNA is included on those power cords around her wrist. Now, I know we had this little thing about the DVD player that you gave to that guy, and I've gotten that DVD player, and he says you provide him with cords to it. So I don't know if these are different cords or what, but these 3-prong cords that will go into like a DVD player or something, your DNA's coming back on that and all over the person. The only thing I figured, because there wasn't no fingerprints, is that you were sweating when you did this, and maybe your sweat dropped in there, or maybe you took your gloves off and thought you were cool just touching the clothing part and that you wouldn't get fingerprints on that. I don't know. But you're saying you never drove a car. You're coming back on a car, on the steering wheel. So if you've never been in a car, that's fine. But your DNA's in their car, and that's the problem. Your wallet ends up in your house, under your bed. Now, I know you said that Larry Spears must have put that there. You found it in Larry Spears' thing. Larry Spears' phone records come back that he's in Alabama. His DNA ain't showing up anywhere on this. That's the problem. I don't have Larry Spears' DNA on our steering wheel. I don't have Larry Spears' DNA on the cords. I have yours. Okay?
No.
So if Larry's excluded, you're telling me you found the stuff in his room and you thought that, hey, I'll just take this and put it underneath my bed and hold it for me. Well, that's kind of a bullshit story. And we kind of knew that from the get-go, didn't we? Okay? The situation is, I don't know what brought on the thing. I mean, I realize you were arguing with her that day over money or some crap. That's the information I have. But
After the DVD player cord issue surfaces, the missing cords from the DVD player seem like a minor detail. But in a murder where a woman was bound with electrical cords, the detective has been asking about wires from the very beginning. Scott confirmed the cords were there, then walked it back the moment the detective returned from speaking to Tasha. He doesn't yet understand why that question keeps coming back.
Hear a commotion over by the dumpster. I don't know if it was the lid slamming down. I don't know if it's her body getting thrown in there. Then the car's blacked out driving back up Burgess Road. So I got a pretty good time frame on when this all occurred. That night you're supposed to be home alone, doing nothing. Nobody can confirm where the hell you are. You don't make any more phone calls until the next morning. You're busy all night. I guess you were sleeping it off. Okay? I mean, that was your story, right? You're home alone,
I worked
right?
the next day.
Yeah, work the next day. And you're on the phone. I checked out all the phone calls that you made. I know you called to check on your warrants. All that good stuff. I mean, I know the phone calls you made. I checked all your phone records, went through every one of them. Okay? But the problem I got is, that wallet, how does it mysteriously get under your bed when he's out of town? Okay? That wallet, your explanation is you find it in Larry's stuff. Did we walk through that house that day? I didn't see it sitting around. I didn't see it sitting around there. Did you? All of a sudden it appears? And it's under your bed. I think that, if I was going to go back and look at this and see, hey, what did he screw up on? That wallet would ring big time. I think the wallet you screwed up on. I think you did a damn good job with fingerprints. You must have gloved up, and it's hard with electrical tape. With that big, thick black tape, it's hard to tape stuff up with gloves on. Hey, and wasn't a fingerprint on it. I think you had to wipe the car, too, because there wasn't any fingerprints on the car, but the touch DNA was there.
Scott Thompson walked out of this building a free man. 3 months later, he was arrested. The DNA, the wallet, the phone records, the cords, it all came together.